Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be on a Sunday night each and every week for the round three edition of season 18, I think we're up to, of Sunday Night Lights here, live and exclusive on Top Split TV for the round three round at New Hampshire. I am your host tonight, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, thanks again for leaving the booth in such fine order from last week's coverage and taking over while I was away. Much appreciated. And we're back here again for another night of Skippy action.
Indeed, we are, Alex, and thank you so much for coming back. I was getting worried that we'd lost you for a while to the temptations of Sydney. But yeah, glad to have you back, and we are here at the New Hampshire Speedway for our Skippy action tonight. A very interesting technical little track that's very hard to pass, but if you get it done right, then there could be no stopping you once you get going here, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Really tough track here. It's what I call a pressure to pass track. Gone are the days, really, overall, where you could draft a pass at most tracks. But this one here at the New Hampshire Oval, very unique track, of course, where the usual Roval, which is the road layout of an oval circuit, of course, is where the road section's on the infield. But this is the unique track where it spills out into the outfield, outside the enclosed oval section. You go out for a while, go the upper hill and down dale version of the outfield, and then back onto the inner section of the oval. Really unique track, but it is indeed a pressure to pass track. You've got to force an error, big or small, from your opponent to get a pass done around here, Corey. 9 times out of 10, it's hard even then still, mate. So looking forward to seeing the tactics on display here tonight.
Another way of passing around here, Alex, is we both saw in the warm-up race to this one, is if you can get into turn 2 on the outside and hold it around the outside of someone, all the way around to the carousel for turn 4, I believe it is, or turn 5, then you'll have the inside run for the carousel. And what would it be? Having an American track and having a carousel there, Alex?
Yeah, it's got to be an American track with a carousel. It'd be lost without it, of course. That's the corner that we see young Luke Whitten, the 10-plated car here, who's provisionally in P3 on the grid. So it's a fantastic job from the Team Milo driver there. Great to see him back in form, although he qualified well for round one, it has to be said, and it put on a great result for the ANZ club and for Team Milo. Great to see him back out there. We've less than a tenth off the pace. That's the other thing about the shorter configuration here. You're only doing a sub 1 minute 10 lap, 1 minute 8 for the quick drivers around here. And so the margins are small and the times are tight. So you can see there the top 11 drivers separated by less than a second. And Ben Snell, his first lap just a second off the pace, although that might be both his laps done. I'm not sure. Let's hop on board with the other Team Milo driver there, the 9-plated car. No, it looks like he's going around for his second lap now. A bit of a bent wing, so he might still improve from there. But the whole field, you can throw a blanket over him with just a second separating the top. All 13 drivers out there on field tonight, Corey.
Yeah, exactly right, Alex. And I do believe Ben has actually completed both of his timed laps as we see him pulling up here on the back straight area. Very technical track, as we were outlining before. It's just really hard to get tire temp with this kind of a track. Even though there's heaps of turns where you can get a little bit of a slide going to generate temperature to produce a good lap, it's still going to be pretty hard. I don't even think the track temp is all that warm here, with it being about 31 degrees, so it's good temperature. But yeah, very tight, small track, much like its oval iteration, and it should provide us with some very interesting racing here, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the funny thing is, there's not a great deal of angle on the banking here. And as such, turn 1 and 2 around the oval after the start-finish line. And can I tell you, Corey, I don't know if it's been your experience, but in mine, they are the toughest corners on the track. The rear of the car still just wants to let go, particularly in the opening, couple of laps. By lap 5 or so, you can really sort of hang it out there. But before that, you're very much at risk of the rear of the car wanting to become the front early on.
Yeah, definitely, Alex. You're going to be stepping on eggshells until those tires reach the perfect operating temperature. I've gone sideways so many times in that corner in the one race that I've done this week, but in the practice, I was trying to push it a little bit, and more times than not, I would end up facing the wrong way and hitting that outside wall, which is also a bit of a hot point for when you're driving NASCARs around here as well. Uh, but adversely, with the NASCAR, the preferred line is actually around the top of the concreted area in the corners. Whereas here in the Skippy, we could see people maybe running the second lane as the preferred lane.
Yeah, absolutely right. The second lane from the inside is the preferred line, and just as we were talking about the rear stepping out in turns 1 and 2, it was Julian O'Fray who we're riding on board with who did exactly that, and he's the last driver to complete his lap. So, whilst we do have a few seconds left, let's run ourselves through the grid for tonight's race. P1 tonight, taken out by UK and I's Simon Edwards. Really pleased to see Simon. He's one of the top Skippy drivers going around. Doesn't get much luck on a Sunday night with us, but I'm really pleased to see him back and on pole. So great drive thus far for Simon. Sasha Gourlay from Redface Racing Team, he's in P2. Those two had an interesting coming together last race. Words were exchanged. Interested to see if they can't get it right this time, put on a good show. P3 tonight, as we were speaking before, to Team Milo's own and ANZ's own Luke Whitten. Great starting position for him. Julian O'Fray for the other Redface Racing Team member. Those between he and Sasha Gourlay have all the top spots on the podium so far this season. P5 went to Team Vascalampi from Finland. P6 Jose Soria for Piston Sim Racing Team this season. P7 went to Russ Clark for Team Milo, who's had some great races here this week. Great to see him back in the top split. P8 went to Sami Toikala, Team Milo's Sami Toikala this season. P9 went to Anthony Catt from UK and I. P10, Toshimasa Hanada. He's not ANZ, he's actually from Japan. I need to update the overlays. P11 went to ANZ's own Kevin Henderson. P12, Mitchell McLeod for Torque Inc. Racing. P13 as we go over the page, Ben Snell for Team Milo. Did not qualify so well tonight. Look for him to come through the field. P14 went to ANZ's Stephen Burgess. The strength of field, about 500 clear of any other race this week. Once again, 4,091, the all-important track temperature now at 30 degrees. As the guys think about taking the grid here tonight, maybe we can
The race starts.
Oh, thank you, Sadie. That's good to know. We were expecting the race to start any time now. I'm just going to see if I can't get a better camera angle. No, it looks like we're going to stick with this one. With Simon Edwards here on pole. About 2 seconds left. No, the revs are beginning to rise as the red lights means to hit the revs and the green lights mean go as we are away on the first of 21 laps around the New Hampshire Roval. Corey, can they all get it sorted through the opening couple of corners here?
Well, it's definitely going to be very interesting to see, Alex. And I'm also hearing through some of the pit lane talk that Ben Snell's car has been halted in scrutineering for a little bit of a technical infringement. Hopefully we'll see him back as the cars now go streaming through this tight section going into the outside Roval area. I think I heard someone spinning in the background there, but I think it might have just been a little bit of tire chatter as the cars now go into the carousel. Looks like everyone's surviving so far, Alex.
Yeah, they're still 2 by 2 behind there as we see Soria and Vascalampi trying to work it out with Anthony Catt now trying to get it side by side as they come down into the tight left-hander now. Now through the one of the few right-hand kinks back onto the oval section. They're all getting it done single file. Jumping back up front, we have Edwards off to a clear start with the two Redface Racing drivers of Gourlay and O'Fray looking to keep their winning streak intact. These front three now with a 1.5 second gap over this chasing pack led by Luke Whitten. But it looks like the front three really looking to make a break as they go 2 by 2 again. See the rear of Whitten's car really trying to let go as he tries to hold on to it in the third lane. Look at the rear of the car. He's just managed to hang on there, but he did let another one by in Soria, and two, in fact, in Cat, who's now going around the outside of the hairpin. 2 by 2, they still go, trying to get it sorted. Now, Cat now looking to get the inside into the carousel. We spoke about that earlier. The outside driver through the hairpin gets the drive out of the corner, and Luke Whitten now has dropped a series of 3 positions. Oh, as we see Cat running wide. Whitten coming up the inside now on the uphill section. As they crest the hill now, Cone's going flying once again. Cat now did manage to gather it up and lead Whitten through. Quite an exciting start so far, Corey.
Indeed, it was, Alex. I was holding my breath that entire time. These guys are on the absolute edge. We could see everyone just stepping out the rear ends very slightly, going through turns 1 and 2 on the oval. As we outlined, walking on eggshells as you're driving through that corner. And it showed there with Luke Whitten dropping those couple of positions. It looks like he's got it sorted out for now. We'll see how he goes this time through the oval, Alex.
Yeah, look at them. They're hogging the inside line. There are those 2 by 2 still behind Whitten in Vascalampi and Toykala this time, going side by side through the oval section. If you jump back up the front, we see that leading pack of 3 now. They've opened up a gap of 2.2 seconds to take this one in the early stages. I would suggest that it would be very difficult, even for the likes of Soria, who we know has got pace, to bridge a 2.2 second gap in this calibre of field, which means we have Edwards, Gourlay and O'Fray left to fight it out up the front for the podium positions, as we see Edwards, the rear of his car, stepping out through the downhill section on the approach to rejoin the oval now as they turn through the S's. They call this the S's, but it's really almost like a double apexing left-hander that you really want to get absolutely correctly, because it is the longest straight on the course then following. So only really ever hitting 4th gear, maybe hitting the limiter if you're in draft, and you might just chuck it into 5th briefly, I should say. But the rest of this track really well suited to these cars, as it is quite technical and really up to the driver's skill to get them around here quickly, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. This is one track where we probably see the slowest top speed in the entire season. But that just adds to the allure and the challenge of trying to race this track quickly. As we see our top 3, Edwards, Gourlay and Alfray, just holding station right now out front. They're looking pretty comfortable right now, Alex, with that 2 second gap that they got over Jose Sawyer. But, you know, as with Skippy racing anywhere, anything can happen. One small mistake and, you know, a cat could be thrown amongst the pigeons, Alex.
Speaking of young Mr. Cat, he's run very wide on the re-entry into the oval, and that's allowing now Vascalampi another one to go past Whitten. Whitten falling through this field like a stone, like the proverbial. He is now down, 4 positions, down into P7. Which is very surprising given the pace he's got, or he's shown in quali at least. Again, running wide there, choosing to take the higher line in the 3rd lane almost, or 2.5 lanes as Toykala looks up at the inside behind him. We've got 3 Milo cars in a row there of Whitten, Toykala and Clark. The other Milo driver, of course, has a DNF'd, as we see down the bottom, and we have that pack of 3 or 4 cars now. Look at them, 5, 6 cars as they crest the hill there, with Hanada looking to join the party in the background as they sweep through the carousel on the mid stages of lap 5. Meanwhile, if we jump back up the front, it's holding stations, as it were, with Edwards leading from Gourlay and O'Fray, the 2 red-faced racing boys really looking to put pressure all over UK&I Simon Edwards, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And these red-faced racers, they have been absolutely dominating the season so far, being right up towards the front so far in our previous 2 races. As we can see now, the 3 of Sasha Gourlay just having a little bit of a look to the inside, thinking better of it right now. And it looks like he's actually gone up into the highest section of that 2nd lane, almost into the 3rd, to see if he can maybe get a little bit more momentum to try and get a run on Simon Edwards as they hit this heavy braking zone, Alex.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you carry a bit more entry speed, you tend to spit a little bit wider up into that 3rd lane, but it also means the rear of the car hasn't got the grip to put the drive through the rear wheels, so it does cost you a little bit time, more so than you would think. Very, very technical, despite the fact that it's just, you know, the simple looking oval section of the track. It's very, very important to get that right because it really does lead you into the best, I should say, passing opportunity, which is into that hairpin. But it's, as we've seen already in those opening stages, you can get the inside of that hairpin and still end up coming out second best, as the guy around the outside can get the move done into the carousel, providing, of course, that you can trust that guy on the inside enough to play nice and race well. Seen a lot of it happen this week, and some of it's been great. Others of it has ended in tears. So I imagine as the laps start winding down, the racing elbows will come out between these three. And as I said earlier, the previous race here tonight, Edwards and Gourlay had their moments, and both of them ended in tears rather than cheers. So hopefully, for the sake of these guys and the race, they can put on a great show all the way to the flag, Corey.
Oh, speaking of ending in tears, Alex, I'm just having a look at a replay right now from lap 6. Timu Vascalampi and Sammy J caught up in an incident caused by Luke Whitten, looking like he was going too deep into that heavy braking zone coming off the oval. It looks like at the moment we got 3 cars sitting in the pits, including Toshimasa Hanada as well. So that is unfortunate for those 4 drivers. Hopefully they can get back on track and get back going again. But yep, very unfortunate there for those guys. As we go back towards the front of the pack, these 3 are just putting on an absolute class act right now, Alex. If you include Sasha into all this, who is still about 2.5 seconds behind these leading 3, they collectively have about 6 or 7 seconds over the chasing pack, Alex.
Yeah, Soria now in P4. He's had a big moment. Whoa, we might go catch a replay of that. I think he might have had a moment coming into the oval as we just go a bit slower there. Might grab a slightly different angle. He's, no, that's a terrible angle. What's going on there? I think as he's come into the oval section, the rear of the car might have let go yeah, look at that. The rear just lets go on him. I don't know what's happened to him there because that's not a braking zone. I don't know if he's picked up some damage somewhere along the lines, but yeah, that's his race run and done. Further putting pay to or putting high stocks in the front 3 now, because they are out to a 6-second lead. These front 3 of Edwards, Gourlay, and O'Fray. 6.1 seconds over the trailing Anthony Catt, who has the lone Team Milo driver in the top 5 now. Russell Clark, car number 13 here tonight, looking to gain a swag of I rating if he stays in that position. Mitch McLeod from Torque Inc. sitting in P6, some 3 seconds behind, with Luke Whitten now remaining in P7, the last driver on the lead lap here tonight, Corey, as we jump back up the front.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. But we've seemed to have experienced a lot of crashes here for such a small field. That just goes to highlight how technical of a track this can be, and how one mistake from any driver can cause a little bit of a domino effect. 8 cars, we got 7 cars on the lead lap. Everyone else is at least 1 lap down, and Stephen Burgess, our 14-plated car there, first time I've seen him in our top split SNL series here. Unfortunately, 2 laps down at the moment, Alex.
Yeah, just right on board with Mr. Burgess at the moment. Yeah, and he is sitting there a couple of laps down, but no doubt, hopefully, enjoying the run nonetheless as we jump back up the front and we see the front 3 now. We see there Gourlay poking the nose up the inside. Now, again, that second lane is where the speed is, so poking the nose up the inside does not gain you much of an advantage, as his teammate, his Redface Racing teammate, really looking to start to want to move past him, if anything. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any team orders here, because at the moment these 3 are looking to be the only ones in the running for the win, and they don't want to throw that away for the sake of look, it's only halfway through the race. They'll be starting on the second half of the race in the next lap or so. These guys don't want to throw that away whilst they're applying all the pressure that they can to try and get the passing done at the same time, Corey.
But in saying that, Alex, these 2 are racers at the end of the day. I mean, team orders are team orders, but team orders can also be ignored very quickly. And these two, I don't think that they would have any team orders, honestly, because they are both racers at heart. As we see the three of Gourlay getting a huge run on Simon Edwards, taking to the outside of that second lane, almost contact as they're going through the oval 1 and 2 section there. Oh, that was very close, Alex. And now we're going to have our fray going to the outside of Gourlay.
Yeah, can he get it done? We see Gourlay holding the line. O'Fray giving him plenty of room, making sure they both got through there safely. But it's interesting that Edwards there took the defensive line into the turn 1 and 2 oval section of the track. The title line not always where the speed is, but thinking that he need to cover off the hard charging Gourlay. So interesting that that's the way it rolled. He did not carry the speed, did Gourlay. He had the entry speed into the 1 and 2, but did not get the exit speed and was not a threat into the braking zone, and in fact came under pressure from his Red Face Racing teammate in O'Fray there, Corey.
Yeah, I think these guys, even though they are still racing for position, Alex, they're going to be very respectful of each other and not try and put each other in a situation which could cause a crash, which is very smart thinking on their parts. And I also don't think that they want to get too heavily into it with Simon, because these three are so far in the lead that one mistake could just ruin the entire race for all three of them. And so it's going to be very close, hard racing with these guys, but they definitely have to reel it back a little bit here. We shouldn't be expecting them to be starting the race hard for another couple of laps yet, Alex.
No, absolutely. Now, if I just jump back to the mid-pack now, we've got Mitchell McLeod, and I thought he might actually be pretty close there. No, he's about 1.4 seconds behind Anthony Catt in front. Anthony Catt now on the tail of Russell Clark. He's sitting there in the draft. Russell's about 8 seconds off the lead, but it won't be long before we see Anthony Catt hop on his tail. Now, if we hop on board O'Fray, I think we might do. Grab the gyro to have a look here. See what that's, folks, about what 0.2 of a second in these cars looks like. 0.2 of a second with your teammate sitting in front of you. You can see the line that they take through there, coming down into that second lane. Look at the extra speed that he's carrying. He's got to run to the outside. Did he lift, or did he just scrub off enough speed not to have to there? Into the very heavy braking zone at the hairpin there. He cut that corner massively, as you just saw there. O'Fray doing the most of the cutting there. And then up and down into the carousel now, into fourth gear quickly, down 2 gears into the second gear, left-hander at the carousel, back up the hill. I'll tell you what, this has got every bit of the American-style road racing, the undulations, the elevation changes. It's got a carousel, it's got some S's, it's even got part of an oval, Corey. I mean, it's a miniature version of every road circuit and oval circuit combined at every track you've ever seen in the US, mate.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex, and I couldn't have put it better myself. I'm glad you did all the explaining for that. But this is a quintessential American track right at the heart of it. And with it being in New Hampshire, it's in a fairly good location as well as far as spectator attendance goes in real life. Although the NASCAR ratings have been dropping a bit lately, there's definitely always going to be action on track. This is considered one of the short tracks in the oval turns. As we see now at the front, Gourlay going for the big dive on the outside of Edwards. Can he hold it? No, he couldn't hold it that time, and almost cut right across the nose of his teammate now Frey there. These guys are starting to get really risky with some of the moves here, Alex.
Yeah, it's still pretty early. I mean, you got 7.5 laps remaining. Although, can I tell you, I've done quite a few races here this week. When the opportunity presents, you really want to take it, because it is really tough to pass here. And to be honest with you, if you're in front, it's better than 50-50 odds, even with the draft that's so famous in these Skip Barber cars. You really want to be in front when the last lap comes around, because as we've seen already, Edwards has fought off several attacking raids by the hard-charging Gourlay. Now, once again, forcing him to the outside of turns 1 and 2. The two of the car, look at the rear of the cars really wanting to let go. They both want, look at them fighting over that second lane there towards this. Oh, there's a bit of phantom contact, I'm going to say. I'm guessing that wheel's going to right itself. I'm glad no cars were really damaged there, although we look at the rear wheel of Edwards still hanging off there. I'm waiting for it to right itself, or is that true damage? This new damage model combined with netcode really playing us for fools at the moment. It looks like, yeah, it's just righted itself there. Just phantom contact. 2x2 they go through the carousel once again. It is Edwards fighting off Gourlay. Gourlay now has the run down the hill, and his teammate O'Fray looking to go with him. 2x2 as they re-enter the oval section. Can they get it done? 2x2 through that right-hand kick. Are you kidding me? And Gourlay now looking to run away with it. They managed to get it done. Three of the best going around, showing how it's done in the Skip Barbers here tonight, Corey.
Oh, that's exactly right, Alex. These guys are showing their skills are worth their weight in gold. That was some absolutely incredible action there. I can't believe they went 2x2 for so long. Oh, that is just amazing. And Alfred unlucky not to get that position on Edwards as they're making their way through the oval section again. These guys are definitely putting it all on the table, and I do agree with what you said, Alex. With this track being so hard to pass, getting any opportunity is good enough to try and take advantage of that opportunity. But you got to be smart about it, Alex. You can't just go throw it up on the inside just anywhere. You really got to try and plan out your attack maybe 2 or 3 laps in advance.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've had, what have they had, 16, 15 laps to try it out. The dress rehearsals have been coming thick and fast. But what have we seen Gourlay? He's been freed up from the pressure of the man behind. Once again, look at O'Fray poking the nose in the downhill section on the approach to rejoin the oval. On the run to the S's now, on the tail end of lap 16, we see 6/10 the gap now to the leader in Gourlay. And can I tell you, without, the 6/10 is still within draft, but with the tiny margins of time and speed between these guys, 6/10 now 8/10, Gourlay might be running away with this one, Corey.
I believe he might be, Alex. I think having Simon in the lead like that was a bit of a cork in the bottle. And I reckon the same thing will happen if Alfred can find a way around Simon as well, looking to the outside, thinking better of it, ducking back in behind him. Now, these three are some of the best three that we've had on track, with that being evidence of Simon Alfred being the 1 and 2 plated car, and even Sasha being the 3 plated car. So, they've got the proof that they are the 3 best that we've got on track right now. And they're definitely showing their skills. And, it's just incredible racing, Alex, and it's hard to contain my excitement for what's going on track right now.
Yeah, very good racing indeed, but it really looks like Gourlay now with the clear sail, or the breeze filling his sails, as it were, really looking to get away. And Edwards thinking that he might have copped a break now. He's got his mirrors full of another red-faced racing car in Julian O'Fray, who's no slouch himself, as we know. Again, having to go defensive as he goes to the inside line, the slower line through here. He's tight down there. He's only just in that second lane. And look at the extra speed that O'Fray was carrying as he exited. But Edwards now forcing him to go on the grass. That's so dangerous in the braking zone there. Very easy to get the wheel on the grass there, and that'll be all she wrote, as we see Edwards now swinging out to driver's left to cover off the inside of the carousel. Are they going to do it again, side by side through the carousel? Yes, they are. I don't think O'Fray's going to get the drive around the outside there, and in fact gets a little bit into the kitty litter on the outside and spoils that one. But he's certainly not leaving anything in the garage tonight, Corey.
Oh, definitely not, Alex. And the funny thing is here that the carousel has more banking than the oval. So if there's going to be a place where you can hang around the outside in one of these turns, that will be it. As you can see there, Simon Edwards got in a little bit into the grass as they got back into that transition onto the oval section. Alfred, again, looking to the outside run, going very outside to try and maximize his momentum, minimize the amount of speed scrubbed off. He's staying to the right side of Edwards right now. Edwards trying to squeeze him up more towards the wall. There's a big move coming up.
He's got
And
him
he's
on
got
the inside. He's got
the inside move made, but can he hold on to it, Alex? That is going to be the question.
the drive on the outside this time going to Edwards, and he gets the better drive, and he's clear by the time they hit the carousel. Fantastic driving there. There was no spotter's clear call from the exit of the oval section, but he managed to show once again that he can get it done going around the outside of the hairpin. These two putting on a fantastic show. All the while now, though, all this defence from Edwards has allowed Gourlay to get out to a 1.8 second lead. It's all done by the shouting up front with just the 2 laps remaining now as these two once again in Edwards and O'Fray look to put on a show around the opening couple of corners here. O'Fray once again on the outside. No, he's just going to see if he can't get the drive out of the oval section. Let's see if he can. Let's see, Edwards is taking the inside line. Yes, he's going to defend once again. Now, can O'Fray get it done? No, he pulls back in time, looks for the switchback. It's not on. Oh, how did they not make contact, Corey? They managed to get through there safely once again. Just the 1.5 laps to go as they come through the carousel for the penultimate time.
And Alfred will be absolutely desperate to try and join his teammate in those first 2 steps of the podium, Alex. But these guys, they're showing, again, as I've been harping on about this entire race so far, you know, just the amount of skill that they have, this tight technical circuit, they're trying to find every advantage they can. It's so hard on such a short track to try and find somewhat of an advantage to try and get over someone else. And these guys are definitely showing that, you know, it's going to take a lot of skill to try and get onto this podium. I mean, even though they're both on it, to advance yourself into second is not going to be easy. I don't think we should be betting on who's going to win, because we know that Gourlay, with the lead that he has amassed so far, Alex, is going to be absolutely massive. So who have you got your money on to finish second here?
Oh, it's so tight and O'Fray looking to push his luck up the inside once again as they go through the hairpin for the last time. Little bit of contact there. Looked like legit contact both. Yeah, bit of recovery. No, the wheels have come back on. The wheels have not fallen off here, folks, but that looks like it's paid. It's put pay to our racing here tonight because these two now separated, and it looks like the podium positions are sorted. The rest of the field there are spread out as well. As we jump up to the front now, there was contact through there. It looked like legit contact, but through the carousel. We'll go and have a look in a minute. But now as we hop on board with Sasha Gourlay, he's going to come through for his second win in only 3 races. It's been all red-face racing here this season thus far, folks, as we close out round 3 with a victory to Sasha Gourlay, who once he got in front, took him a dozen or so laps to get there, but then he got there and he just made every poster winner from there. Simon Edwards and Julian O'Fray crossing the line subsequently to round out your podium positions. And Russell Clark, car number 13, lets the engine do the talking after the finish line. He's grabbed P4 in a 4K soft, fantastic drive, leading ANZ driver, closely followed by Mitchell McLeod. Fantastic drive, the leading ANZ driver and the leading Team Milo driver. Russell Clark here tonight. Corey, great finish for Russell.
Indeed it was. I think that's one of the best finishes Russell's had for a long time here in our strength of field races. Good job, Mitchell McLeod, as well for P5, bringing 2 Aussies up into the top 5 there. But what I think is amazing here, Alex, is out of all the people who we had here on track, we only had 7 cars out of the 14 registered finishing on the lead lap.
Yeah, outstanding. I'm just going to go. That speaks to quite a heavy toll. I'm just going to go back and see if I can't find the incident between Edwards and Gourlay. Might have been. Oh, I'll tell you what, it needs to. That would have been it there, I think. Let's go back there. Now, this is the run that they had, and I'm going to hop on here with O'Fray, and I want to see what sort of contact they had. And I might slow it down from here. You can see he just really wanted that inside line, and he got it, but at what expense? You can see Edwards there swings out. He comes back in. It looks like legit wheel-to-wheel contact there. But and the cars both had the body language of cars that had made contact with each other. But as you can see, they both live to fight another day. The droids have been in action there and repaired the two cars to finish their final laps there. But yeah, they live to fight another day and finish out the podium. But Edwards and O'Fray continuing the rivalry there with Red Face Racers and the UK and I's Simon Edwards. I was pleased to see Simon Edwards grab a good result here tonight, Corey. He has been a big supporter of the series since we moved to Sunday nights. Not had the best of luck at times, it has to be said, but finishing with a strong podium here tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm so glad that we can see Simon finally doing well after such a big run of bad luck. But another thing that I want to see, Alex, is lap 6, Luke Witten. There was a big contact there going into the transition to go off the oval track there onto the roval section. A lot of good cars were taken out in that crash as well.
Oh, I'll tell you what, you might be pushing the friendship, mate, but let me see if I can't go back and find it. Lap 6, you reckon? I could be struggling here, mate. I'll try. Uh, try and find it. No, it's not going to play nice. Sorry, mate. I'm in struggle town. I can't jump back to lap 6, but I might see if I can't add it to the highlights package from the season. Now let's go and check our final results, folks. From round 3 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Sasha Gourlay from Redface Racing Team taking out the victory here tonight from Simon Edwards, who led for a good half of the race, finishing nearly 4 seconds behind after that final lap incident with P3 getter tonight, Julian O'Fray, the other Redface Racing Team. The Redface boys really dominating this season to this point. P4, Russell Clark for Team Milo, the ANZ driver, grabbing the highest position I think he's had for some seasons. Great to see Russell in the top split and getting such a great result. P5 to Mitchell McLeod for Talk Inc. Mitchell becoming quite a regular member of the top split racing community here on a Sunday night and getting really near the pointy end more often than not. P6 tonight went to UK and I's Anthony Catt, followed by P7, another Team Milo driver and ANZ driver in Luke Witt. P8 tonight went to Japan's Toshimasa Hanada. I must fix those flags. Mental note. P9 tonight went to Timo Vascalampi, not featuring in the pointy end tonight, a lap down. Kevin Henderson for ANZ in P10. Sammy Toikala, the other Team Milo driver, in P11. P12 and final point scoring, SNL point scoring position at least, and down 2 laps was Stephen Burgess. If we go over the page now, Jose Soria, I should say, for Pistons Sim Racing Team and Iberia P13 and P14, the luckless Ben Snell for Team Milo, down some 21 laps after equipment failure. I must imagine it to be. Strength of field, as we said once again, a soaring 4,091, which at a track like this, where only quarter of the regulars own it. That's an outstanding turnout by the Skip Barber and Sunday Night Lights community. Fastest lap tonight went to our third place getter in Julian O'Fray with a 108.4. That's not hanging about around here, Corey. Not too many better times than that here this week.
No, definitely not, Alex. I'm struggling to get into the tens myself. But yeah, well done to Julian Alfred there for such an amazing lap. And even Sasha Gourlay there getting a 108.685 on the final lap, all on his lonesome, no draft or anything. That's definitely no mean feat either, Alex. But I'm just having a little look in the Discord here, and it looks like we might smell a little bit. We've got no one lined up for an interview, Alex.
Yeah, well, it's that kind of week, mate. The drivers have been finding other things to do this week, and certainly not hanging around after the race. Although, can I tell you, this track has its detractors, but it's also got a loyal band of people who really love it, and I'm one of them. It's a lot of fun to get around here. It's a different kind of challenge in these cars that's taken up by the brave few, I think. And the brave few we had here tonight put on a great show, particularly the three up the front once the pack had sorted itself out. But that, folks, might do us. A short and sweet one here tonight from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You can find us at all these places on the screen at the moment. Where can the people find you this week, Corey?
You guys can find me at twitch.tv/Corey Has No Life 13. I'm not sure what I'll be doing this week. Well, I know for sure we got a Friday Night Race Club on, which I'll be heavily streaming. You can also find me at twitch.tv/Aussie_sim_commentator on Wednesday at about lunchtime for the Output Racing League round number 6, I think I'm up to, from the New Hampshire Speedway.
Awesome. So the other places you can find us is, of course, this race will be on the Top Split YouTube, where you can also find the latest episode of the podcast. The first time we did one on the video, episode 25, is also available on thetopsplit.com, and you can find us on iTunes and all your local podcatchers, your favourite podcatchers, I should say, for the audio version. Join us in the Discord community where we do the broadcast for, and when people join us for interviews, that's where you can find us as well. I'll be here during the week on Top Split TV doing some of my own Skip Barber racing and doing it with a smile on my face, because that's what it's all about. But tonight, folks, hot racing on the track, plenty of carnage as we see only half the field on the lead lap. But hopefully next week we'll be back at it at Suzuka, the Grand Prix circuit. So you can't get much more than polar opposites than the Roval, the short, tight and twisty oval, to a full GP layout at Suzuka. So looking forward to that one, Corey. Same bat time, same bat channel. But tonight, folks, thank you for joining us on track and in the broadcast. We do appreciate your support. I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and on behalf of the Chaotic One, Mr. Corey Steinhauser, I will say good night and ciao for now.